television ratings, higher attendance figures. Ladies and gentlemen, that doesn't come courtesy of a league. It comes courtesy of the players that play in the league. And in her case, she was the most popular, which means she could have helped your bottom line, which means you should have seen that from day one and maximized it. But you
already earned.
They decided that they were going to let her know she was Rookie of the Year with a phone call in Connecticut during a practice before a playoff game.
The WNBA is at a crossroads. One of the biggest rising stars in basketball, Caitlin Clark, has brought in record-breaking ratings and attendance numbers, yet the league seems hesitant to embrace her fully. Instead of maximizing her potential to grow the sport, some believe the WNBA is actively working against her. Stephen A. Smith has called out the league for what he sees as a deliberate effort to downplay Caitlin Clark's impact. But what exactly is going on? Why would the WNBA resist one of its biggest assets? Let's break it all down. Stephen A. Smith argues that league success comes from its players, not the league itself. The WNBA has long struggled with ratings and attendance, but Caitlin Clark's arrival changed everything. Her games have drawn unprecedented viewership, sold-out arenas, and massive media coverage. Despite this, the WNBA failed to maximize her impact from the very beginning. Instead of promoting her as the future of the league, they treated her just like any other rookie. But Clark isn't just another rookie. She's a game changer. The WNBA had a golden opportunity to capitalize on her momentum and elevate the league's profile. Yet, instead of embracing her rise, they hesitated. And this hesitation may have cost them even greater success, growing its brand.
Then are you willing to admit how stupid it was for y'all not to go all in speaking your piece to elevate Caitlin Clark? So therefore even more attention could have come and y'all could have reaped the benefits? Now you're gonna do it anyway, and I get that.
Stephen A. Smith further highlights the shocking decision to leave Caitlin Clark off Team USA. For a league trying to grow, pushing Clark onto the Olympic stage would have been a no-brainer. Yet the WNBA and Team USA neglected her. This decision was not just about basketball, it was political. Despite her record-breaking college career and ability to attract millions of viewers, Clark was kept off the roster. The excuse? She wasn't ready? But if marketing and growth were the priority, wouldn't you want one of the biggest names in women's basketball on the Olympic stage? This missed opportunity proves that some within the WNBA and USA basketball are resistant to her impact. Instead of elevating their biggest star, they sidelined her. New star.
You didn't want to, rather. You were a bit hesitant and reluctant and resistant to it. So much so you didn't push for her to be on Team USA. So much so you had people like Cheryl Swoops who didn't.
Stephen A. Smith believes that the decision to not promote Caitlin Clark was a massive mistake. Rather than embracing the attention she brings, some within the WNBA chose to resist her rise. They viewed her popularity as a threat rather than an opportunity. Clark's arrival didn't just bring new fans, it exposed the WNBA's long-standing struggles. For years, the league struggled to gain mainstream attention. Now, with Clark drawing millions of new viewers, the league could have capitalized on her momentum. But instead of riding the wave, they resisted it. And in doing so, they may have harmed their own long-term growth.
I said Caitlin Clark, rising tide lifts all boats. As much as her presence was maximized by the WNBA, you players could have done more to assist.
When Kennedy Carter hip-checked Caitlin, was that a basketball play? Absolutely not. Was Kennedy wrong? 100%. It was not as hard as people say, but it was everywhere. When Alyssa Thomas clotheslined Angel and took her out, that was worse than what Kennedy did.
Facts.
But where was the uproar? Tell me why.
One's a villain.
Who?
The one who says she's a villain. What I'm saying is if Draymond right now gets closed by somebody, there's no uproar. One, she physically can handle herself. The way she plays the game is a rugged style, like she's built for let's combat. One damn near sprained her ankle against a fan trying to celebrate with her team. Let's not forget that. Any contact she feels, she's gonna flop a little bit. And that's how she sells certain fouls. But with Angel, she's a rugged girl.
The way Caitlin Clark was informed about her Rookie of the Year award says everything about how the league has treated her. According to Adrienne Ross, Clark received the news over a phone call while she was in Connecticut. No major ceremony, no grand announcement, just a phone call. For any other league, a rookie drawing record-breaking numbers would be celebrated in a big way. Instead, the WNBA chose to downplay the moment. This sends a clear message. The league is not fully embracing Clark's impact. Instead of celebrating her success, they are treating her like any other player. But Clark isn't just any player. She is the biggest reason the WNBA is getting attention. And if the league doesn't realize that soon, they could lose out on their greatest opportunity for growth already earned.
They decided that they were going to let her know she was Rookie of the Year with a phone call in Connecticut during a practice before a playoff game.
Stephen A. Smith highlights a major contradiction in how the WNBA has treated Caitlin Clark. For years, the league struggled to gain mainstream media attention. Now, Clark has single-handedly brought in millions of new viewers and sold out arenas. Yet, instead of celebrating her contributions, they are downplaying her success. The WNBA often argues that it wants more recognition, bigger TV deals, and higher salaries for its players. But when Clark provides them with the platform to achieve all of this, they choose to ignore her impact. This kind of double standard raises serious questions. Is the WNBA truly invested in growing the sport? Or are they letting internal politics and resentment get in the way of progress? Clark has done everything the league could have hoped for, yet she continues to face resistance. And that resistance could cost the league its best opportunity for long-term growth.
Higher television ratings, higher attendance figures. Ladies and gentlemen, that doesn't come courtesy of a league. It comes courtesy of the players that play in the league. And in her case, she was the most popular, which means she could have helped your bottom line, which means you should have seen that from day one and maximized it. But
Stephen A. Smith explains that Caitlin Clark isn't just a star. She's a movement. Her presence in the WNBA has drawn in new fans, increased revenue, and sparked debates that were never mainstream before. The attention she brings isn't just about her. It's about the entire league. Players who were once unknown to casual fans are now being discussed because of her impact. Sponsorships are pouring in. Media coverage is at an all-time high. Yet some in the WNBA fail to see the bigger picture. Instead of realizing that Clark's success benefits all players, they see her as a threat. But the reality is, if the WNBA fully embraces Clark, every player in the league wins. The league gets bigger TV deals. Players get higher salaries, and women's basketball finally gets the respect it has fought for. But this can only happen if the WNBA acknowledges Clark's impact and stops resisting it. Decades.
And everybody talking about other WNBA players not being appreciated. Nobody insulted them. Nobody dismissed their contribution. We were simply saying, despite the contributions for years and years and years, a lot of people didn't care. Fair or not. Until Caitlin